Hello students, this is the last part of carbohydrates. So far in the 4 series, we have discussed about the classification of carbohydrates, then oxazone formation, epimerization, epimers, then mutarotation, ascending series of conversions and descending series of conversions, that is Kilani-Fischer synthesis, Ruff's degradation, ring structure of the glucose, determination of ring structure of the glucose, so on. And so far in the 4 sessions, we have concentrated only on the monosaccharides. In today's session, I will discuss about the disaccharides and the polysaccharides. As per the classification of carbohydrates, carbohydrates are broadly classified as monosaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. Oligosaccharides means carbohydrates upon hydrolysis to give 2 to 9 units of monosaccharides. May be same or different, may be regarded as oligo. Oligo means few. In the oligosaccharides, one of the part we can discuss about the disaccharides. Disaccharides means these are the carbohydrates upon acid or enzymatic hydrolysis. They may give the two same or different monosaccharide units. Generally, they are possessing formula C12H22O11. Upon hydrolysis to give the monosaccharide units having formula C6H12O6. For example, if you take sucrose, maltose, lactose, all these are having same molecular formula. Upon hydrolysis to give glucose, fructose, and galactose. That means sucrose, which is made up of glucose and fructose. Maltose is made up of glucose. Lactose is made up of glucose and galactose. When a disaccharide is made up of a similar or same kind of the monosaccharide units, only one kind, are called as homodisaccharides. If more than one type of the monosaccharide units are being present, they are called heterodisaccharides. We shall discuss about the structures of these disaccharides. Generally, disaccharides are possessing the monosaccharides which are joined by glycosidic linkage. Glycosidic linkage means it is just like an oxygen linkage between one sugar unit to another sugar unit, that is one monosaccharide unit to another monosaccharide unit. If you see this, say for example, you know the structure of the glucose, if you see this, this is the a simple cyclic structure of the glucose or galactose, whatever you can take. This is the first carbon atom. If OH group is below the plane, you will find oxygen linkage and then another unit of the monosaccharide. This kind of the oxygen linkage between a one monosaccharide unit to another monosaccharide unit, it may be through C1, C4 of this type, or between C1 of a pyranose ring structure to C2 of furanose ring structure in case of the fructose. So this kind of linkage is called glycosidic linkage. So this glycosidic linkage you will find in case of the structures of the disaccharides. So therefore, the disaccharides containing two monosaccharide units, these are joined by glycosidic linkage and ethyl linkage, oxygen linkage between the two monosaccharide units. Okay. Generally, we'll find 1,4-glycosidic linkase or 1,6, or it depends upon the type of the monosaccharide unit which is going to be present in the disaccharides. Naming is also very, very important. Generally, the names of disaccharides derived by adding the suffix osyl to the name of the sugar whose anomeric hydroxyl group is involved. For example, this is supposed to be anomeric carbon atom. ಯಾವುದು anomeric carbon atom ಇರುತ್ತದೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ. Okay, so this is left side ring and another one is a right side ring. Another will contribute its fourth carbon atom. You can see it is involved in the glycosidic linkase, and then adding the same the name of the sugar, that is a prefix of O is added before the name of the sugar. That indicates O glycosidic nature, oxygen glycosidic nature it is. The number of carbon atoms involved in the glycosidic bond are also going to be indicated. Here one which is the name is given for the glucose unit, that is 4O alpha D glucopyranosyl beta D glucopyranose. Okay, that is in the case of structure of the maltose. Suppose you can take the maltose structure, one of the unit is having the beta ionomer configuration, another is having alpha ionomer configuration, where alpha ionomer configuration is contributing oxygen linkage towards the fourth carbon atom of the beta D glucose unit it is. So therefore, you may find the name as 4O alpha D glucopyranosyl. Here beginning itself it has been told osyl to the name of the sugar whose anomeric hydroxyl group is involved in the glycosidic linkage. That sugar is present on the left hand side like this. So let us see the structures of different. This is the maltose. Here the first unit of the glucose it is. If OH group is here, if it is the OH group of one sugar unit, this is the first carbon atom, already it is indicated. Another glucose unit is beta anomeric. Here this is the anomeric carbon it is. Here also anomeric carbon. OH is above the plane, so therefore it is a beta ionomer, it is a alpha ionomer. The first carbon atom of one glucose unit which is take part in the glycosidic linkage with the fourth carbon atom of the beta unit. So here is also will find one OH group. So when they undergo the elimination of water molecule, you will find this oxygen linkage. So this is supposed to be called as a glycosidic linkage. So this is how you are going to represent the structures of the disaccharides, and also you may suppose to name the disaccharide molecules. Okay, these are all what we represent is Haworth ring structures in hemiacetal form. Hemiacetal form it is. Then one by one we can see the structures of these compounds, the disaccharides. Okay, the maltose, it is the major product which is obtained by the hydrolysis of a starch by beta amylase, which is an enzyme. The name maltose or malt sugar stems from the formation of this disaccharide by the enzymatic hydrolysis. The general formula will find that is C12H22O11. This maltose is made up of alpha D plus glucose units. Anomerically, they may be differ in one or the other unit of the same. And it is a reducing sugar because in the structure one of the sugar moiety, that is a glucose unit, is set free with its aldehydic group in enolic form. It may have the capacity to reduce Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. This maltose is exist in both alpha and beta anomeric form. You can see here this is a beta D plus maltose. This is alpha glucose unit, it is a beta glucose unit. Here you will find ethyl linkase. So this 1 unit of the glucose is not in the free with the first carbon, anomeric carbon. But however, in another unit where you will find a free state, in this one OH is above the plane. So therefore we can say that it is a beta configuration. So therefore it is beta D plus maltose. This moiety is this particular position, anomeric carbon shows reducing property. It can able to reduce Tollens reagent, Fehling solution and so on. Similarly, in this case, the OH is below the plane in another unit of this one. So therefore it is called alpha D plus maltose. Both are being formed through the elimination of water molecule. This kind of linkage, we can call it as glycosidic linkage, which is developed between C1 to C4. So therefore maltose is possessing C1 C4 glycosidic linkage, and it also exhibits mutarotation, where you will find a constant value of the specific rotation 136 degree, that is angle of rotation it is. So where alpha maltose is 168, it may decreases to 136. Beta maltose increases from 112 to 136. They attain the state of equilibrium. Then reducing property of the maltose, as already I have told you, this part, whether you can take in alpha anomeric structure or beta anomeric structure, you will find the free aldehydic or ketonic free aldehydic part it is. Here you will find it is in enolic structure, hemiacetal structure. The first carbon atom takes up the hydrogen atom to form hydroxyl group it is. So therefore you will find H and OH configuration. So this is beta, it is alpha. Both are set in free in both the cases, whether alpha ionomer or beta ionomer. So this part is supposed to be called as reducing moiety. It can able to reduce the Fehling solution as well as the Tollens reagent and so on. Hence the maltose is reducing sugar it is. Okay, the disaccharides consist of two monosaccharide units and maybe either reducing or non-reducing. Even a reducing disaccharide will only have one reducing end, as already we have seen. Disaccharides are held together by the glycosidic bond, which consists at least one anomeric carbon it is. That anomeric carbon, if it is set free, it can able to show the reducing property. Similarly, you can see the lactose, which is called as a milk sugar. It is a naturally occurring disaccharide present in the milk of mammals, especially cows and humans. The cows will find 4 to 5%, in humans 6 to 8%. It is also called as a milk sugar. And lactose is hydrolyzed by an enzyme beta galactosidase. Galactosidase. It is a beta galactosidase. Here spell mistake is there. And the humans will synthesize this enzyme. So therefore, this enzyme is present in the digestive fluids of normal infants to hydrolyze their mother milk. Once the child stops drinking the milk, the production of this enzyme gradually stops. Okay, so this is the brief the information about the lactose. It is also disaccharide, but however, it is made up of the alpha D plus glucose units and the beta D plus galactose. You can see the structures of this, the lactose. Okay, the molecular formula is C12H22O11. It is made up of galactose, where it is connected by 1,4-glycosidic linkage with this. That is C1 of galactose unit connected to C4 of glucose unit. C1 it is going to be present in alpha or beta depending upon anomeric structure. The glucose reducing half and galactose is a non-reducing half. It means the glucose unit which is responsible to exhibit reducing property of lactose, it is also reducing sugar just like a maltose, and it gives a test with the Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. Okay, it is also exist in alpha and beta anomeric form. You can see this is the galactose, where this part is beta D galactose. It is beta D plus galactose, because in the first carbon atom which is above the plane it is, and glucose is reducing half. Okay, because here you will find the reducing part, and there is a parallel direction where glycosidic linkage is going to develop. It is consisting of glucose unit and galactose unit. So this is supposed to be called as a beta D plus galactose, since this reducing part where OH is above the plane in the glucose unit, if OH is below the plane, then we can say that alpha D plus galactose. But however, the galactose is the beta anomeric carbon, beta D plus galactose, and here you will find alpha or beta D plus glucose unit. So this is the structure for the beta D plus the lactose, where this configuration is set free. It is in the beta anomeric carbon atom. Sucrose, it is a very commonly known type of table sugar, which is made up of alpha D plus glucopyranose and beta D minus fructofuranose. During hydrolysis, it may yield glucose and fructose. The very interesting property of this sucrose is it is usually called as inverted sugar. Inverted sugar means during hydrolysis, it gives out a major part as levorotatory fructose. It is. When you compare the optical rotation, sucrose is possessing plus 65.5 minutes. It is, whereas glucose is 52 degrees 7 minutes, where fructose is minus. It is a levorotatory derivative. So therefore, a major portion which is going to be structuring towards the fructose, hence it may be called as inverted sugar or the invert sugar. It is. Sucrose is called as invert sugar because during hydrolysis, sucrose gives a major formation of the levorotatory fructose, hence it is invert sugar. This is the structure of glucose. Here you will find this is the alpha D plus glucose unit. It is a beta D minus fructofuranose, pyranose ring, furanose ring. Here first carbon atom is get hydrolyzed, they undergo dehydration with this OH group of another moiety like this. This is the OH group of the glucose, and this is the first carbon atom it is. And here second carbon atom of this fructose, second carbon atom of the fructose, you will find OH group. They leading to elimination of water molecule through the formation of a glycosidic linkage. So therefore you will find glycosidic linkage is like this. And in both the units, this part is blocked and it is also blocked through the glycosidic linkage. No one anomeric carbon atom is set free to show the reducing property, whether it is in the glucose or fructose moiety of the second carbon. So therefore sucrose is non-reducing sugar, and this linkage, it is between C1 of glucose and C2 of the fructose, hence it is called C1-C2 glycosidic linkage. So this is how we may suppose to represent the structure of sucrose. Here anti-parallel direction we can show this, and it is the perspective formula of the sucrose moiety. Okay, so this is about sucrose structure. It is. Then we shall move towards the reducing property and all. This reducing property will shows about because of the C1, C2 both are blocked by the glycosidic linkage, hence it is unable to reduce Fehling solution tolerance reagent, hence it is called as a non-reducing sugar. It is. This is overall structure of sucrose, C1 of glucose, C2 of fructose. Okay, and it is a beta anomeric structure, it is alpha anomeric structure, and here you will find glycosidic linkage. This linkage is C1, C2, hence C1, C2 glycosidic linkage. Then we shall discuss about polysaccharides. Poly means many. These polysaccharides are naturally occurring polymers. They are possessing general formula C5H10O5 of the N. N stands for number of monosaccharide units. They may be homopolysaccharides or heteropolysaccharides depending upon the type of monosaccharide unit which is going to be present. If only one type or single monosaccharide unit is contributing polysaccharide structure, then it is called homopolysaccharide. If more than one type of the monosaccharide units are being present, are called heteropolysaccharide. These are the examples: starch, cellulose, and glycogen. For instance, I will discuss only on structure of the starch and cellulose. Starch, it is a most widely distributed the polysaccharide present in the vegetable kingdom, and it is a very complex polysaccharide. Generally, when we discuss about the partial structure of starch, means it is made up of two units, that is amylose water soluble component and amylopectin water insoluble component. However, starch, which is a tasteless carbohydrate, which is called as a non-sugar, it is, and it is a white amorphous substance with no taste or smell. It is insoluble in water, but starch, when starch is added to boiling water, the granules swell and burst, forming a colloidal translucent suspension. Okay, because of the insoluble part of amylopectin. Starch, it will be get degraded as starch to dextrin, maltose, and glucose. When it is hydrolyzed with enzyme diastase, the maltose is obtained. When it is hydrolyzed with enzyme diastase, you will get the maltose. Later, maltase enzyme is responsible to produce the glucose. When we discuss about the structure of the starch, you will find 15 to 20% of water soluble component and 80 to 85% of the water insoluble component, that is amylopectin. The amylose, which is a linear polymeric structure, which is consisting of nearly 200 to 1000 alpha D glucose units through 1,4-glycosidic linkage. This is the partial structure of the amylose, and molecular weight, which is ranging from 1 lakh to 5 lakhs, because more than 200 to 1000 you will find the monosaccharide, that is alpha D plus glucose units in the linear structure. The amylopectin is water insoluble component. Structure is remained same to this amylose, but only difference is after every 25 to 30 unit, again the branching is taking place with C1 of 1 D-glucose unit to C4, and but however branching is possible at the C1 terminal of glucose in each chain is further linked by C6, that is C1 C6 linkage is going to be developed. So therefore it is highly branched. Here all these cases you will find 1,4-glycosidic linkage, but after every 25 to 30 units there is again the 6th carbon to the 1st carbon atom linkage is taking place between the two chains, where we can say that it is C1C6 glycosidic linkage. Amylopectin is consisting of both C1C4, C1C6. glycosidic linkage, and it is a branched chain polymer it is, whereas the amylose is a linear polymer in which you will find only C1C4 glycosidic linkage. It is a very important one. It is used as the principal food storage of glucose energy because it gets hydrolyzed by an enzyme amylase present in the saliva, the end product glucose, which is an essential nutrient. Starch solution, which gives the blue color when a drop of iodine solution is added. It is all because of the reaction between the amylose, water-soluble component, where it forms a starch-iodide complex. Later, slowly it will changes its color. The amylopectin, which will gives out red-brown color with the iodine. Appearance and disappearance will be taking place. Cellulose, it is the structural material of the plant, and 50% of cellulose you will find in case of the wood, and while cotton, wool is almost pure cellulose it is. When you discuss about the structure of cellulose, it is a straight chain polysaccharide composed of glucose units, that too D glucose units, beta D plus glucose units, because you will find beta glycosidic linkage between C1 of one beta D glucose units to C4 of another beta D plus glucose unit, where number you will find that ranging from 300 to 2500 the beta D plus glucose units are going to be present. You can see this is the beta D plus glucose unit C1, where OH is above the plane. It is involved in the glycosidic linkage with the C4 of another beta D plus glucose unit, so on. So this is the partial structure of the cellulose. Here this is the glycosidic linkage. Okay, when it is get hydrolyzed by heating with the dilute acids, it gives beta D plus glucose units. It may be given as a dietary supplement, but it cannot be digested in the human beings because our body cannot synthesize an enzyme cellulase, but animals can easily digest this cellulose. When you look into the overall summary of this particular session, we have discussed about the how disaccharides structures are being developed, that is glycosidic linkage, and glycosides are named according to their monosaccharides forming. Okay, disaccharides are formed between two monosaccharide units linked by glycosidic bond, that is ethyl linkage. Disaccharides may be formed by combination of the same or different monosaccharides, may be called as homopolysaccharides or homodisaccharides or heterodisaccharides. Okay, you know the structure of the maltose and also lactose, sucrose, etc. Maltose is made up of alpha D plus glucose units. Lactose is made up of beta D plus galactose and alpha D plus glucose. And sucrose is made up of the alpha D plus glucopyranose and beta D minus fructofuranose. In previous lactose and maltose, you will find pyranose ring structures. Polysaccharides, already you know that these are all called the carbohydrates upon hydrolysis to give n number of the monosaccharide units. Starch, which is made up of the two components amylose, amylopectin. Amylase is water soluble component, amylopectin is water insoluble component. Okay, and structures you have seen. Cellulose, it is a structural material mainly present in the plant, cell walls of the plant, and it is made up of beta D plus glucose units only. It is a linear polymeric structures, and this is all about the entire chapter on the carbohydrates, starting from the part 1 to this part 5th. Part 1 to part 5th, we have discussed about all the important things of the carbohydrates. Thank you very much and stay safe.